Before we dive into today's incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This one coin might just make you look at your old pocket change a whole lot differently. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever held a piece of history right in the palm of your hand? Not a newspaper clipping. Not a photo. But something real. Something solid. Something that jingled in the pockets of men who built nations, walked through dust-covered streets, and shook hands under open skies. That's what we're talking about today. The 5-cent coin from South Africa, minted in 1965. A small piece of metal, but with a story that could send chills down your spine. Close your eyes for a moment and take yourself back. The year is 1965. The world is shifting. Civil rights movements rise in the West. The space race tightens. A silent tension presses across continents. And down in the south of Africa, under a scorching sun and vast skies, a coin is struck. It's small, unassuming. Just a 5-cent piece. But like many things from the past, its real value isn't in its size or shine, it's in the legacy it carries. This wasn't just any coin. This was a coin of transition. Of tension. Of silent power. Minted just a few years after South Africa left the British Commonwealth and became a republic, this coin carries with it more than just monetary value. It represents identity. A shift from empire to independence. From the reign of Queen Elizabeth II to the stern face of Jan van Riebeeck, whose image appeared on coins during that era. Jan wasn't a king or a president. He was a Dutch colonial administrator from the 1600s, symbolizing the arrival of European settlers at the Cape. His portrait was chosen carefully, echoing both pride and controversy, depending on which side of history you stand on. The 1965 5-cent coin is crafted from nickel and copper, with a diameter of just over 19 millimeters. A modest size. You could easily lose it between couch cushions or let it slip through your fingers without thinking twice. But what if I told you that losing this little coin could mean losing a fortune? Flip the coin over, and you'll see something beautiful. A blue crane bird, elegant and fierce, stretching its wings across the reverse side. The blue crane is South Africa's national bird. Proud. Graceful. But also rare. Just like this coin has become. Most of these coins were circulated. Passed from hand to hand. Used to buy milk, bread, or maybe a cold beer after a long day's work. But a small number, just a handful, were minted under rare conditions. Perhaps an error in the metal mix. A misalignment in the die. Or a limited strike meant only for officials and collectors. These rare versions are what make the story go from interesting to absolutely jaw-dropping. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer. You find a dusty box. Inside, a few old coins from decades past. You pick them up, casually glancing over them. And there it is. A 1965 South African 5-cent coin. You might toss it aside. Maybe even forget it. But unknown to you, it's one of those rare few. One of those misprints. One of those nearly priceless pieces that collectors and museums would fight to get their hands on. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Most people see coins as flat currency. But collectors, they see art. They see history. They see power. And for some of them, the South African 5 cents from 1965 isn't just valuable, it's legendary. Why? Because one of these coins, believed to be struck under incredibly rare minting conditions, has been estimated at a value most people wouldn't even believe. Not a few thousand. Not a few 100,000. But millions. You might be thinking, how can a 5-cent coin be worth that much? It's simple. Rarity. Condition. History. And timing. Just like a classic car or a forgotten painting from a master artist, its value doesn't come from its original price, but from what it has become over time. This isn't just metal. It's a time capsule. A symbol of an era. A representation of a nation's transformation. And in the hands of the right collector, it's a crown jewel. Let's take a moment to think about what that means. Most of us grew up being told to save pennies. to pick up coins off the street. But how many times did we think those coins were actually worth more than their face value? How many old tins, drawers, or boxes have been overlooked because they were thought to be worthless? That's the real lesson here. Sometimes, the smallest things hold the biggest stories. Sometimes, what we think is ordinary turns out to be extraordinary. I'm talking to the men out there who still remember what real coins felt like. Heavy. Solid. Not these paper-light pieces we get today. I'm talking to the ones who used to trade coins as kids, who remember walking into corner stores with a few cents in their pocket and walking out with a handful of sweets. You remember the sound of coins hitting the counter, don't you? That clink. That weight. Now, imagine one of those same coins is now worth more than the house you bought in 1980. Or 2. Or 5. There's something deeply satisfying about finding value in something that once seemed worthless. It's not just about the money. It's about the discovery. The feeling that maybe, just maybe, history didn't forget you after all. That something from your past has finally come full circle. So the next time you're going through your old belongings, don't rush. Take a second look. Open that old jar of coins. Dig into that box under the bed. Because hidden between the rusted keys and faded photos, you might just find something remarkable. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The value. That rare 1965 5-cent South African coin, in top condition, from the right minting batch, with those ultra-rare characteristics, has been valued by collectors and numismatic experts at over $3 million. Yes. 3 million. So the next time someone scoffs at coin collecting, just smile. Because sometimes, real treasure doesn't glitter. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket, and don't forget, subscribe if you haven't already. Because who knows which coin, which year, which story, might be next.